Hello everyone. I have a special guest here and her name is Gina Carr-Barrett and I cannot wait for you to hear from her. So I'll let Gina tell you a little bit about herself, and recently had some individuals asking questions, Avon representatives wanting to know needing really guidance and help in certain areas. And so Gina is willing to share her input and help in regards to these questions. So Gina, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Gina. I was a district sales manager for almost 27 years. I was a representative for almost 10 years before that, so I've been with Avon for quite a while. I have lots of experience, but there's always room to learn more. And I know that we have representatives always asking questions, and so I'm just answering or I'm providing some answers for thought. And of course, in addition to what I share, lots of people have lots of other answers. So this is not the answer, it's an answer that might help.
And recently, really what we did is, what do you need help with? What areas do you need coaching with? And people responded. So we are going to address those questions, and we'll start right in the order that we received them. Okay, Gina?
Sure.
So I think the first question was individuals were nervous about calling some Alma leads. So what do you have to say about that?
Well, I would say don't be nervous. Of course, that's easier than said than done. But remember that an Alma lead is either somebody who has contacted Avon directly asking for more information about becoming a representative, or somebody who has filled out maybe an online form, maybe not necessarily about Avon, but about wanting to earn money from home. So the thing is, be yourself. I'll also say that the more often you do it, the more natural it becomes. So it might be really nervous at first, but if you practice, eventually it'll become second nature. And I wouldn't call somebody and say, "Hi, I'm calling because you wanted to sell Avon." I would call and say something like, "Hi, I'm Gina, I'm with Avon, and I'm calling because I received your request for information about earning money from home. Is this a good time to talk?" Of course, if you're not reaching them live, leave a short message. But again, I'm following up for your request for information. I'd love to chat with you, and here's my phone number. I'd also send a text and an email.
Thank you. That's great ideas and suggestions. Now, we also heard that people are struggling with sharing the Avon
Yes.
opportunity, and I think that's a real big one for a lot of Avon representatives.
Right. So the first thing I would ask is, do you enjoy working with Avon? And I'm assuming that the person who asked enjoys working with Avon. In fact, most representatives enjoy working with Avon. So keep in mind, there are many thousands of representatives who love working with Avon. There's no reason why you shouldn't invite somebody else to join us and do the same. Be yourself and listen for clues that people might give. For example, if somebody's complaining about the price of gas going up, or if somebody is complaining about their child needing to go to, let's say, summer camp and it costs so much money, then share the opportunity. Have you looked for opportunities to earn money to pay for that? Avon could be a way. Can I talk with you about that? So look for natural opportunities and not necessarily forced opportunities where you're trying to say, "Hey, you should join Avon, you should join Avon," because that does feel awkward to you and to them. Look for natural opportunities to make the connection, and also share your love of Avon. And again, practice makes perfect. The more you do it, the more comfortable it becomes.
Now, if I heard you correctly, listening is a
Yes.
real big key. Because when you listen, you're showing somebody you care.
Exactly. Be more concerned about listening than telling, because you don't need to talk somebody's ears off.
Maybe that's why we have two ears and only one mouth, right?
Exactly. Listen and then share what matches up to their needs.
Okay, we also heard from individuals, they struggle to get customers, new customers.
Yes.
So what advice do you have for people looking to expand their customer base?
Yes. Well, we are going to do another video about top 10 ways to find customers, but just to give you a couple of ideas. I know a lot of representatives are already doing many of these things. I would say not everything works for everybody, and not everything works all the time. So don't do something once and give up on it, and do be consistent about what you do. So a very easy thing to do is wear an Avon button badge or pin or some sort of Avon logo to make yourself visible. Another easy thing to do is talk to people wherever you go. Of course, I know some people say, well, I'm shy, I have a hard time talking to people. So maybe you could even say, can I offer you an Avon brochure? As simple as that. And then when you practice that and it becomes comfortable, you can make that, add something a little better to that and enhance it even more. The other thing would be when you give a brochure out, get the phone number or email, some way to follow up and contact that customer. Because quite frankly, you might be giving out a lot of brochures and people might get home and the dog chews it up or the child tears it up or it gets lost under a stack of magazines and they would have called you, but they lost your catalog or it got torn and they couldn't reach you. If you have the ability to call them, then you have the ability to follow up and to get that order. The other thing I would say is ask those current customers you already have if they might know somebody who would also appreciate receiving your service, and maybe give them a small gift when they make a referral who actually becomes one of your customers. And I would also say, are you working consistently? Do you have a goal? Have you made yourself a goal to talk to 5 people each day or hand out 5 brochures each day and do that over and over and over again?
Wow. Now that was a lot of really great advice, Gina. The next question. I know this is frustrating for representatives, especially if, individuals new to leadership. They get somebody on their team who joins, getting those recruits to stay.
Right.
So do you have any advice there?
Well, I know that when we work really hard to recruit somebody and they join and then they leave, it's very disappointing. But the reality is, sometimes somebody might join and then a family member becomes ill, or they might become ill, or something might happen that changes. The other thing is, maybe they weren't that serious about getting started. So you just have to know people are going to come and go, but to help somebody the best that you can, don't try to pressure people into selling. Instead, find something that they want or need that would be beneficial to them or their family and help them see how they can get that with Avon. And when they're working for a specific goal and they see themselves making progress, then most of the time those people are going to stay. But if you just sign them up and say, well, congratulations and have a great day, then you haven't really done your full job of saying, what would be meaningful to you, what would be meaningful to your family, and now let's see how much do you need to sell or how many people should be recruited in order to meet your goal.
That's wonderful. Let me ask you this. Sometimes people have a problem getting motivated. They might be procrastinating. They know they're supposed to be doing something, but they might not necessarily do it. So, have any advice there?
Well, do you have a goal? Maybe if you have a goal that you are working towards and you are making progress towards that goal, that would be a good thing. I can't tell you how many times we had sales meetings and things like that, and I asked representatives, do you have a goal or what are you working for? And a lot of times they didn't have a goal and they didn't know what they were working for, so that doesn't give you a reason to go out and see and talk to people. So one is set yourself a goal. Number 2 is make a rule to yourself that every day you do some small thing to move in that direction. It doesn't have to be a huge thing, but at least one step forward that day. And the third thing, which I think is the kicker on this, or which is probably one of the biggest things, share your goal with somebody else. So I might say, Linda, I'm working really hard on my Avon business, and sometimes I just let myself slide. And I know this sounds really silly, but would you check in with me once a week and just make sure that I've done this and that I said I was going to do? And that way you've had a conversation with somebody and you've made a commitment, and you know that Linda's going to call you on Friday and you don't want to be embarrassed to say, you know what, I didn't go out and do any of those things this week.
An accountability buddy.
Yes, an accountability buddy. That could be a family member, it could be another Avon representative, but somebody who will check in with you and help keep you moving forward.
Another question that we received, and I find this especially when there's an incentive going on, like right now there's representatives, they're trying to earn a trip to Bermuda and they struggle to get leads, and it's like, oh, where do I get leads?
Well, Finding leads for recruiting is really very similar to finding customers. It's just a slight change in what you say. So you can find leads when you go to the grocery store, you can do it when you go to the restaurant. It's a matter of having Avon somewhere on you, having Avon materials with you, listening for those opportunities and making that connection. I'll share one quick thing. I'm not actually associated with Avon anymore, but I still love Avon, and my mother's still a representative, and I'm actually doing volunteer work. And you know how people chat, what do you do, what do you do? And I told this lady how I used to work with Avon for so long. She came in the next week and she said, you know, I know you mentioned to me you were with Avon, and your skin looks so good. You must be using Avon products. And there we go, just like that. So it's, you know, it may not happen overnight, it might not happen on the instant, but make sure that you're using the products, sharing them with enthusiasm, talking to people, listening for ways that they might be able to benefit, and inviting them.
So when we're discussing leads, are there any words that you think are good to use in converting these leads?
Well, I do think it varies from person to person, because what I say might not be exactly comfortable for you to say the same thing. But the general idea is to share a little bit about your excitement and your enthusiasm with Avon, and also find out, is there a need? Are they looking for something interesting and fun to do? Avon could be it. Are they looking for a way to put their child in private school? Avon could be it. And making that connection. So it might be something like, you know, Linda, I know that you mentioned that you need new cars for your tires. Yeah, you need new cars for your tires. You need new tires for your car, and that was an unexpected expense for you and your family. And I'd love to share with you how you could pay for those tires with Avon. Do you have a minute that we could talk about that? Something to that effect, depending on what that person wants or needs or is looking for.
I really think people are going to appreciate the input that you've given, Gina. Do you have any additional words you want to share before we end this?
Well, I know most of our conversation, or most of these questions, had to do with leads, whether they be personal leads or Alma leads. I would also remind you that no is not never. No means no right now. So I always made it a habit to call back or follow, either call, email, or text, or all three, call a lead or contact a lead every time the season changes. So in August and September, the contact would be, you know, we're just getting ready to begin our Christmas sales. It's a great time to be with Avon. Is this a time that you're looking to earn more money? After Christmas, I know the holiday bills are coming in. Are you looking for some extra money to pay them? When we get to spring, you know, the weather is turning beautiful. It's easy to get out and about and talk to your neighbors. It's a great time to be with Avon. Summer comes around, it's bug guard season, the children are out of school, it's a great time to be with Avon. So no is not never. Follow up, I would say, every time the season changes, and continue to do that until they say, I'm not interested anymore, don't call me anymore, and then mark them off of your list. But until then, a seasonal call is appropriate.
Thank you very much for joining me, Gina. I think this will be very helpful to others as well. So we're going to end this now and go grab something to eat.
Yeah.
So you guys take care.
Christmas party.
Bye-bye.